So like Instagram, social media, all these things have finally reached that point that like I feel like I've been waiting years for them to reach, where all the old people are getting onto the apps now, right? And really scary, first of all, because if you think that media literacy is bad in Gen Z, you should see older people when they get on Instagram. They believe every AI video they see. Anyways, that's not the point here. The point is, I've noticed a difference in how the older people in my life, namely my parents, my aunts, my uncles, use Instagram, and mainly Instagram actually, I guess they're not really on many other platforms, versus how Gen Z, and I want to say just like below or above, use it, you know? And that's the main reason I noticed is because the other day, my dad sent me something on Instagram, I forget what to be honest, and I just remember I opened the comments, because that's always what I do when I'm viewing a post, and the comments hated the video. It was one of those where they were like, this isn't funny, you know, where's the joke, I forgot to laugh. Like one of those Instagram Reels comment sections where they're just eating this guy alive. So, you know, later, maybe a day or two, I'm talking to my dad on the phone, and it comes up about the thing, the Instagram Reel. He's like, oh, did you see that thing I sent you the other day? And I was like, yeah, people were hating on that really hard. And he was like, oh, I never checked the comments. I didn't even know you could. And then I asked some other, you know, people in my family who use them. I was like, do you guys read the comments when you go on these platforms? You know, just when I had the chance. And all of them, without fail, said no. And then, because I was like, I read the comments on every post I see. And I know, like, I got like this one friend who I've seen him do it too. I know he does it. I know my brother does it. So I was like, okay, like, this is interesting. So I texted a couple group chats I'm in, and I was like, guys, do you read the comments on the Instagram Reels or TikToks or whatever short form content you're watching? Without fail, every single one said yes. I don't think there was a single person that said they don't read the comments. So first and foremost, down below, let me know, do you read the comments on Reels and things like that? Because I'm suspecting for most people the answer is going to be yes. I think that's interesting though, because let's go here based off the answer is yes, because I know it is for at least everyone I know, right? That's kind of interesting, right? Because I think like, you know, if it was just me reading the comments, that'd be one thing. It's just like, oh, I just find them interesting. But like, that's weird that our generation, our generation, who is like categorically way more chronically online than the generation above us, right? Like we have had probably at least 100 times the FaceTime with Instagram that, you know, boomers, Gen X, whatever has had. We all, over that course of time, have started reading the comments more, right? And thinking back to like, I want to say it was like 2017, 2018 when I first got on TikTok, thinking back to those times, I didn't read the comments. Like I can distinctly remember not reading the comments back then and not caring at all. And now like I have. So I wonder, is this a thing of like, we have all evolved to reading comments over time? Like has it become this thing where it's like, because we've used the app so much, we want to read the comments? I think that's interesting. I think there's like a couple of really simple answers for it, right? One, and this is what everyone who I was texting was saying, is just like, either A, I want to just see, you know, what people have to say, or B, and this is where I know I'm reading the comments, I want to see if like somebody is saying what I'm thinking already. Like as an example, let's say I scroll and I see a video of a guy doing a prank where he, I don't know, like steals a grandma's shopping cart and like throws it on the floor, something like that, you know, prank. And I'm thinking like, that's cruel and unusual, that's terrible. I click on the comments, hoping to see a comment reciprocating exactly what I'm thinking. I want to see a comment going, that is cruel and unusual punishment. You should buy that woman all her groceries, right? And I think that's where like a lot of it comes from. Which, even like an answer that simple, I feel like still says kind of a lot about all of us and the way we're using these platforms. Because like implicitly, and maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but you guys know how much I hate when people say it's not that deep, so I'm gonna keep going. Implicitly, doesn't that kind of mean that like we all care so much about the consensus opinion now? Like, doesn't that mean that in our time on Instagram, going with this idea that at some point we all started reading the comments because of the amount of time we spent on these platforms, right? That's kind of going to be the underlying assumption for all this. Doesn't that mean that we all became hyper aware that, like, okay, there's a billion other opinions on every video I see. Do I agree with them? Am I the outlier? You know, and I can't think of any examples, but I'm sure there have been, like, videos I've watched where, like, maybe I was like, that was cruel and unusual to spill that grandma's cart. And then I checked the comments and everyone was like, sick prank, bro. I love harmless pranks like this. No victim, no people harmed. This is awesome. And, like, my opinion was changed. That was obvious. I should not have gone with that example again. I was joking, but, like, I'm sure it's happened where my opinion was changed by the comments. And I think that's interesting because that means that, like, I myself have gotten just more aware of, like, okay, there's a million other opinions I'm about to see here, and I need to put some value into them, right? Like, I need to be almost in the way that, like, everybody loves getting likes on social media because it's like a way of affirmation of, like, no, you're doing a cool, good, right thing. Seeing everyone have your same opinion is almost a way of affirming, like, oh, like, see, like, I am correct. Like, I am thinking the right thing. If you walk into a room and you say something and everyone's like, that was so good and correct, you're gonna feel a lot better than if they're like, no, you're a freak, get out, freak, 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 right? So I think, like, that's part of it, which, I don't know, on the one hand, I feel like I do believe it probably says something, but I can't help but also be like, yeah, that just makes sense. Like, you expose others to, you put everyone in this environment digitally, where it's like, we are surrounded by a billion people all the time. Eventually, we're gonna get more and more cognizant of the fact that more and more cognizant of all those people, the more time we spend on it, right? So I feel like that kind of just makes sense. The other thing, though, that I was thinking is, like, because a lot of my friends were saying sometimes the comments are way more interesting than the video itself. And, like, that's totally true. Like, sometimes I'm reading the comments and I'll spend double the time in the comments that I did watching the video, right? So I think, like, another kind of hypothesis on why we're reading Instagram comments is, like, maybe we're already, like, kind of like, okay, I'm slightly entertained by this 60 seconds of content, because, like, how entertained can you really be by an Instagram reel? And now it's like, I want more. Like, it's like, I want a more entertaining thing. It's like, now those comments are almost the extra content that the audience makes. And I will say, it makes social media feel a lot more social. Like, it's almost like, you know, if you go out in public and you're surrounded by a bunch of people and you talk, let's say you strike up a conversation with 3 or 4 or whatever, you know, however it goes, that feels more lonely than if you go in public and just hang out with one friend and kind of people watch for a little while, right? And that's almost what it feels like reading the comments. It's like, no, see, there's so many other people here and we're people watching together, me and the creator of this video, looking at the comments that people are leaving. Or maybe it's not the creator. I don't know, I feel like there's almost a people watching aspect to going and just, like, reading Instagram comments. Or maybe it's not so much that it is people watching, but it almost has the same appeal to me. I don't know, maybe I got nothing there. Maybe I just thought of that idea and got a little too attached to it. But I do feel like there is something there. And I think that makes sense, you know? Like, it's almost like, look, the town square is full. Isn't that why people like Twitter? Because Twitter is just like a big comment section for the world. And it's almost like, look, we're in the town square, everyone's discussing everything that's going on. Like, I've gotten more news on Twitter than anywhere else, because it's just people are like, oh my God, did you see what Elon Musk did today? And it's like, oh my, tell me, like, what's going on? And then I get filled in on usually really, you know, useless information that I never needed to know. Like, I know that Elon Musk was cheating on Path of Exile. I don't know where I would go to buy Path of Exile. I don't know what that game is, but now I know that because of Twitter, because it's like, oh, like, I feel like I'm keyed in on this conversation that I otherwise wouldn't be. And, like, the comment section kind of feels like that. Like, it's like, okay, now we're gonna all talk about that thing that we just watched. And it's the same as talking to your friends as you leave the movie theater. This makes it feel like sad almost though too, right? Of like, like, I don't know, it's, because it's not a conversation, but it's just like, it feels so much more lively. And the reason I'm kind of stuck on this point is because like, when I see something that has 0 comments or maybe 1 comment, it's almost like, oh, nobody's here. Like, I'm gonna keep scrolling. It's like, there's no interactivity going on here. I don't know. Cause like, I'd say Twitter is like the social media I use the most. I'm on Reels maybe 10 minutes a day, to be honest. Mostly I'm on Reels when people send them to me these days. So I feel like for me, I like Twitter because it's where we're all having a conversation. And every comment section on Instagram, because of how many people are replying and liking it, you can't repost or anything like that. But, you know, with just the reply and the like features, almost like a mini Twitter in the comments under every post now for just like what's going on in that video. And the reason I came to talk about this is because I almost have this idea in my head that like isn't a good one or fully formed, but I think it's interesting, so I'm gonna throw it out there. Like, I feel like us all reading comments is almost the next evolution of social media. Like, since social media was created, it's like, okay, you kind of broadcast to everyone, like what you're watching right now. I make this, and I broadcast it to you all, right? And usually it's almost, I mean, sort of a transactional thing, right? Like the creator posts something, and then you watch it, you like it, maybe you comment, like it's like you send a little bit back, usually the view is what you send back, and then you go on with your day, right? That would almost feels like there's like a third element to that of like, what is everyone else saying here? Like, this is the next evolution of like, okay, now that we know, now that we're entertained by this, let's see what people say about this entertainment. What's the take on this? What is there to think about this? And I don't know, I just think that's really interesting. I think it's interesting that we're all reading the comments now when we weren't before. I'd love to hear your guys' theories on this because I think I definitely have like a little bit of a point that like it's just entertaining and we want to see other people there talking and engaging, but I think maybe there is like a really interesting reason that has to do with how we interface with these platforms, that the more time you spend on them, the more likely you are to want to see others' opinions and read these comments. This is the painting though, it's a leg. We have the quad here, I think that's the quad. We have a thing there and we have a thing there. I don't know the names of any muscles. That's the knee. You can see the calf starting on either side there. Yeah, I don't know the names of any muscles. My leg anatomy is not great. I know the main part, I know that part really well. This is oh, his other leg is kind of missing, isn't it? That's not good. No, but this would be wait, let me, right, left. This is a right leg. Yeah, so shading, just like yesterday, is improving still. I want to go one more actually right over here while I finish up here. The shading's definitely improving a little bit. I think this is kind of hindered by the fact that I don't know leg anatomy. I don't know, I don't think it's quite as bad as some of the others. Like, I think once I say this is a leg, you're like, oh, yeah, I see a leg there. But I don't think it's quite where, maybe I should have done an arm. I know arm anatomy a little bit better. But yeah, go check this out over on the Instagram. And until next time, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This has been Paint Talk episode 97. I'm here every morning, painting and talking with you all.